was the first Kisii to serve as a government minister in Kenya, and though he would be elected only once to parliament, he would remain in his lifetime a major force in Kisii politics and a moderating influence on national politics. Lawrence George Sagini was born on January 1, 1926 at Ikuruma village, Marani division of Kisii district, to the influential president of the local African Tribunal Court, Ndemo Kibagendi, and one of his wives, Esther Nyanganyi. Young Sagini went to the Isecha Sector School for his primary education in 1934. 4 years later, he joined Kisii Government African School and upon completion was in 1945 admitted to Kaba Mangu Holy Ghost College, then the leading boarding secondary school for Roman Catholic boys in Kenya. From Mangu, Sagini went to Kagumo and trained as a teacher, receiving his teaching diploma in 1950. After his graduation from Kagumo, Sagini spent the next 7 years teaching in Nyanza and Central provinces. In 1957, he took leave from active teaching to pursue a Bachelor of Arts degree in Sociology and Political Science at the Allegheny College in Pennsylvania in the United States of America. He was one of only a handful of young Kenyans who went to the US that year for higher education. Sagini graduated from Allegheny in 1959, becoming the first Kisii to earn a university degree. He returned home and taught briefly at Asumbi Teachers College before he was appointed the following year to become an education officer. Until then, Sagini had concentrated his energies on education. But like many other Africans educated abroad, he would soon be pulled into politics. Sagini was amongst the first Kisii leaders to join the Kenya African National Union KANU, one of the national parties that had been set up in 1960 after the British colonial powers relaxed their restrictions on African political activities. He would eventually end up as the party's Kisii branch chairman. In the February 1961 general election, in his first foray into elective politics, Sagini ran for and won the Kisii constituency seat. He was one of 19 KANU candidates who were elected to the Legislative Council, or LegCo, compared to 11 who belonged to the other major African party, the Kenya African Democratic Union, KADU. But though victorious at the polls, KANU refused to form a government until Mzee Kenyatta and other African leaders, who in 1952 had been arrested, tried, convicted, jailed and later detained for being behind the Mau Mau rebellion, had been released. Kenyatta and his co-detainees were released in August that year, and soon thereafter Kenyatta took over as president of KANU. Next, the member for Kigumo, Kariuki Njiri, relinquished his LegCo seat in favor of Kenyatta. It was as KANU president and member of the legislature that Kenyatta led his party's delegation to the Second Constitutional Conference in 1962 at Lancaster House in London, at which the final touches to the path to Kenya's independence were worked out. Sagini was one of the KANU delegates at the conference. One of the interim measures agreed at the conference was the setting up of a KANU-KADU coalition government that would govern the country until the final general election that would be held in May the following year. Kenyatta and KADU's president, Ronald Ngala, became joint leaders of the transition coalition government, in which Sagini was appointed Minister for Education. Sagini would be retained in that position on June 1, 1963, after KANU won the pre-independence general election, conducted a few days earlier, and Kenyatta, as leader of the majority party in parliament, became prime minister. In that election, Sagini won the newly created Kitutu West constituency parliamentary seat. Kenyatta switched him to the Ministry of Natural Resources in the first cabinet of 15 ministers that he set up at independence on December 12, 1963.